What if the person you're fighting to keep is the reason you feel drained every day? What if love isn't the problem, but your tolerance is? We live in a world that glorifies never giving up. But no one talks about when staying slowly destroys you. Energy fading, confidence shrinking, peace disappearing. Here's the truth. Sometimes strength isn't holding on, it's walking away. And if you ignore these signs, you won't just lose them, you'll lose yourself. We are taught to endure, to be patient, to forgive endlessly. But endurance without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Each day, we wake up responsible for one thing: our inner world, our peace, our discipline, our integrity. When someone consistently disturbs that balance, we must ask a harder question. Are we staying out of love or fear? Here are 10 dark signs you must walk away. 1. You feel smaller around them, not challenged, not inspired, smaller. You've felt it before. You walk into the room confident, clear, grounded. But after a few minutes around them, something shifts. Your ideas sound less intelligent in your own head. Your achievements feel insignificant. Your personality becomes quieter. It's subtle, almost invisible. They interrupt you. They make jokes at your expense. They subtly compete with everything you say. They highlight your flaws while disguising it as advice. In today's world, where comparison is already constant, this hits even harder. Social media already makes you question your progress. Algorithms already show you people who seem ahead. You don't need someone in real life reinforcing that insecurity. The problem isn't that they challenge you. Challenge builds you, inspiration stretches you, but this feels different. You don't leave motivated. You leave drained, second-guessing yourself, replaying conversations in your mind. Over time, this dynamic shrinks you. You start speaking less, sharing less, trying less. You adjust yourself to avoid criticism. You dim your personality to avoid competition. That's not growth, that's erosion. Healthy relationships make you feel expanded. Even when they correct you, you feel respected. Even when they're ahead of you, you feel encouraged. If you consistently feel smaller, that's information. The solution begins with awareness. Ask yourself, do I feel safe expressing myself around them? Do I feel supported when I succeed? Do I leave interactions energized or depleted? If the answer hurts, don't ignore it. You don't need to confront aggressively, but you may need boundaries. Limit what you share. Limit how often you engage. Strengthen your self-worth outside their validation. Surround yourself with people who celebrate growth, not compete with it. And here's the hope. The moment you stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort, you begin expanding into your full size. Your voice returns, your confidence stabilizes, your ambition grows without apology. You realize something powerful. You were never too much. You were simply around someone who needed you to be less. Choose environments that stretch you, not shrink you, because you deserve to feel challenged, inspired, and fully yourself. 2. Your peace disappears in their presence. Your nervous system knows before your heart admits it. You don't always notice it immediately. Sometimes it's subtle. Your shoulders tense, your breathing becomes shallow, your thoughts start racing before they even say anything. Your body reacts before your mind can justify it. In today's world, you're already overstimulated. Notifications buzz, deadlines stack, news feeds trigger anxiety. Your nervous system is constantly processing noise. So when a specific person enters the room, or even your phone screen lights up with their name, and your peace vanishes instantly, that's not random, that's information. The problem is you often ignore it. You tell yourself you're overreacting. You minimize the pattern. You excuse their behavior because of history, attachment, or hope. But your body doesn't lie. If your stomach tightens before seeing them, if you rehearse conversations in advance, if you feel drained instead of supported, your nervous system has already identified them as unsafe. Not necessarily physically unsafe, but emotionally unpredictable. Maybe they criticize you unpredictably. Maybe they explode in anger. Maybe they guilt trip, manipulate, or withdraw affection. Over time, your body learns to brace itself. You become hyper-aware, careful with your words, alert to tone shifts. That's not connection, that's survival mode. And staying in survival mode long enough rewires you. You become anxious, reactive, guarded. The solution starts with radical honesty. Ask yourself, do I feel calm around them? Do I feel respected? Can I fully relax in their presence? If the answer is no, stop dismissing it. Peace is not dramatic. Peace is steady. You may not need a confrontation. You may need boundaries. Limit exposure. Communicate clearly. Protect your emotional space. Strengthen relationships where your body feels safe, where laughter comes naturally, where silence feels comfortable, where you don't feel judged. And here's the hope. When you choose environments that calm your nervous system instead of triggering it, your entire life shifts. Your sleep improves, your clarity sharpens, your confidence stabilizes. You realize something powerful. Love should not feel like tension. Friendship should not feel like anxiety. Connection should not feel like walking on eggshells. Your body knew the truth long before you did. And when you finally listen to it, you don't just protect your peace, you reclaim it.
3. They mock your growth. Anyone threatened by your discipline cannot walk beside you. At first, it sounds harmless. Wow, you've changed. You think you're better now? Relax, it's not that serious. They laugh when you skip the party to wake up early. They roll their eyes when you talk about goals. They tease you for eating differently, training harder, studying more, setting boundaries. It's framed as humor, but it doesn't feel like support. In today's world, discipline stands out. Most people chase comfort, quick dopamine, instant validation. So when you choose delayed gratification, when you say no to distractions and yes to growth, it disrupts the environment. And that disruption makes some people uncomfortable. The problem isn't your growth. It's what your growth reflects back to them. Your discipline becomes a mirror. It highlights their inconsistency. Your progress exposes their stagnation, and instead of rising with you, they try to shrink you. Mockery is easier than self-improvement. If you're not careful, their comments start to work. You downplay your goals. You skip workouts to fit in. You soften your ambition to avoid tension. Slowly, you trade progress for approval. That's the danger. Not everyone who laughs is joking. Some are protecting their comfort. The solution begins with clarity. Ask yourself, do they celebrate my wins? Do they respect my boundaries? Do they encourage consistency or tempt me to break it? Growth requires alignment. You don't need to argue. You don't need to convince them. You need to protect your trajectory. Reduce exposure to negativity. Find communities that value discipline. Surround yourself with people who push you forward instead of pulling you back. And most importantly, stop apologizing for evolving. Here's the hope. When you stay committed despite the mockery, your results will speak louder than their jokes ever could. Discipline compounds, character strengthens, confidence solidifies. Over time, two things happen. They either respect your consistency or they drift away. Both outcomes protect you. Because anyone threatened by your growth was never meant to walk beside you long term. The right people won't mock your discipline. They'll match it. And when you finally stand firm in your evolution, you realize something powerful. You're not losing people, you're outgrowing them. 4. You constantly justify their behavior. When you become their defense attorney, you've abandoned yourself. At first, it sounds like empathy. They're just stressed. They didn't mean it like that. They had a rough childhood. They're under a lot of pressure. You explain their behavior to others and to yourself. In today's world, self-awareness is praised and understanding people's trauma is encouraged. That's a good thing. but there's a dangerous line between compassion and self-erasure. The problem begins when you start excusing patterns instead of acknowledging harm. They cancel plans without warning. They disrespect your boundaries. They speak to you in ways they'd never tolerate themselves, and every time, you rush in to soften the reality. You minimize your own feelings. You doubt your reactions. You tell yourself you're being too sensitive. Slowly, you stop trusting your own emotional signals. That's the cost. When you defend them, you invalidate yourself. When you justify their actions, you normalize your own discomfort. Over time, this creates confusion. You feel drained but guilty for feeling that way. You feel hurt but ashamed for acknowledging it. That inner conflict is exhausting. Healthy relationships don't require constant explanation. They don't force you to translate disrespect into kindness. They don't require you to betray your intuition. The solution starts with honesty. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this?" ask, "How did this make me feel?" Your feelings are data, not drama. You can understand someone's past and still require accountability. You can be compassionate and have boundaries. Stop arguing their case in your mind. Stop rewriting reality to make it easier to stay. Clarity is not cruelty. Create space where your emotions are allowed to exist without justification. Name patterns instead of isolated incidents. Trust what your body and mind are telling you, and here's the hope. The moment you stop defending someone at your own expense, you come back to yourself. Your voice strengthens. Your self-respect returns. Your decisions become clearer. You realize something powerful. Love should not require self-betrayal. Understanding someone should never cost you your dignity. When you choose yourself again, you don't become colder. You become whole. 5. They thrive on chaos. Drama feeds them. Calm bores them. You can feel it the moment things get quiet. When life is stable, they stir something. When peace settles, they disrupt it. When everything is fine, suddenly there's a problem. In today's world, chaos is everywhere. Outrage travels faster than truth. Drama gets more attention than stability. Conflict goes viral. Some people don't just live in that environment. They feed on it. They create tension out of nothing. They escalate small misunderstandings. They thrive on emotional reactions. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Calm feels empty to them. That's the problem. A person addicted to chaos cannot coexist with peace. They mistake stability for boredom. They confuse intensity with connection, so they provoke. They test boundaries. They pick fights when things are going well. If you're someone who values clarity, calm, and emotional safety, this dynamic slowly exhausts you. You start living on edge, always anticipating the next issue, always managing moods. Your nervous system never rests. You become the regulator, the peacemaker, the one cleaning up emotional messes that were never yours to begin with. That's not partnership, that's emotional labor. The solution begins with recognition. Ask yourself, do problems magically appear when things are peaceful? Do conflicts feel repetitive and unnecessary? Does calm only exist when they're not around? If yes, you're not imagining it. You cannot calm someone who needs chaos to feel alive. You cannot reason with someone who thrives on reaction, so you stop engaging. You refuse to feed drama with emotion. You don't over-explain. You don't chase resolution that they don't actually want. You protect your peace with boundaries, distance, or when necessary, departure. And here's the hope. When you choose calm over chaos, your life changes rapidly. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy returns. Your relationships feel lighter. You realize something deeply freeing. Peace is not boring. It is powerful. And anyone who requires chaos to feel alive will never appreciate the strength it takes to live in calm. You don't owe them your nervous system. You don't owe them your peace. Choose environments where calm is welcomed, not disrupted. 6. You fear their reactions. Love does not require walking on emotional glass. You start choosing your words carefully, not because you want to be kind, but because you're afraid. Afraid of their tone changing, afraid of the silence that follows, afraid of the explosion, the guilt, the withdrawal, the mood shift. In today's world, where stress is already high and emotional regulation is rare, this fear often gets normalized. People call it being understanding, keeping the peace, or avoiding conflict. But your body knows the truth. Your heart races before difficult conversations. You rehearse sentences in your head. You downplay your needs to avoid triggering them. That's not love, that's emotional survival. The problem is subtle but devastating. When you fear someone's reactions, you slowly abandon honesty. You stop expressing discomfort, you stop setting boundaries, you stop being fully yourself. You become a version of you designed to manage their emotions. Over time, this creates anxiety. Resentment builds silently. Self-trust erodes. You begin to believe peace depends on your silence. But healthy love doesn't punish honesty. It doesn't weaponize emotions. It doesn't make you responsible for someone else's reactions. The solution starts with truth. Ask yourself, can I speak freely without fear? Can I say no without consequences? Can I express pain without being blamed for it? If the answer is no, something is wrong, not with you, but with the dynamic. You cannot heal someone by shrinking yourself. You cannot maintain peace by self-erasure. Start small. Name your feelings without apology. Set gentle but firm boundaries. Observe how they respond, not their words, but their behavior. Respectful people adjust, manipulative people escalate. That tells you everything, and here's the hope. When you stop walking on emotional glass, your nervous system finally rests. Your voice steadies, your confidence returns, your relationships feel safe instead of stressful. You realize something essential. Love should feel like ground beneath your feet, not a minefield. And the moment you choose emotional safety over fear, you don't lose love. You reclaim yourself. 7. They never take responsibility. Excuses are their shield. Blame is their weapon. You've heard it every time something goes wrong. It's never their fault. There's always a reason. Always an explanation. Always someone else to point at. In today's world, accountability feels rare. Everyone has a narrative. Everyone has a justification. Everyone is the hero of their own story. But with them, it's a pattern. They miss deadlines. It's the system's fault. They hurt you. You're too sensitive. They break promises. Circumstances made them do it. Excuses protect their ego. Blame redirects the discomfort. And slowly that burden shifts onto you. You start apologizing for their behavior. You start questioning your memory. You start fixing problems you didn't create. That's the problem. A relationship without responsibility becomes a one-sided burden. One person reflects, the other deflects. You bring concerns calmly, they respond defensively. You seek resolution. They seek escape. Over time, you feel unheard, invalidated, emotionally exhausted, because growth cannot exist where accountability is absent. The solution begins with clarity. Watch actions, not apologies. Notice patterns, not promises. Responsible people say, I was wrong, I'll fix it. I understand the impact. Irresponsible people say, that's not what I meant. You're overreacting. If you hadn't, you cannot teach. Accountability to someone who refuses to see themselves. So you stop absorbing blame that isn't yours. You stop arguing facts with denial. You stop carrying guilt for their choices. Set firm boundaries. Name the behavior clearly. Require change, not explanations. And if responsibility never comes, believe what that shows you. Here's the hope. When you choose relationships rooted in accountability, everything shifts. Conversations become honest. Conflicts become repairable. Trust becomes possible. You realize something powerful. Accountability is love in action. It says, you matter enough for me to grow. And anyone who hides behind excuses will never build something real with you. You deserve people who face themselves, not people who use blame to avoid it. 8. Your boundaries feel like battles. Healthy people respect limits. Unhealthy ones test them. At first, you try to be clear. You explain calmly. You say no politely. But somehow, every boundary turns into a confrontation. They push back. They guilt trip. They question your reasons. They make you feel selfish for protecting yourself. In today's culture, boundaries are often misunderstood. People call them walls. They label self-respect as coldness. They expect constant access to your time, energy, and emotions. So when you finally speak up, resistance appears. That's the problem. A boundary is not a negotiation. It's not an invitation to argue. It's a line that protects your well-being. When someone treats your boundaries like challenges to overcome, they're not confused. They're entitled. You feel it in your body. Your chest tightens. Your stomach sinks. You start rehearsing explanations you shouldn't have to give. You become exhausted not from the boundary itself, but from defending it. Over time, this erodes self-trust. You stop setting limits to avoid conflict. You tolerate discomfort to keep the peace. But peace built on self-betrayal never lasts. Healthy people hear a boundary and adjust. They may feel disappointed, but they respect it. They don't punish you for it. Unhealthy people react differently. They test you. They push harder. They wait for you to crack. The solution begins with firmness. You don't over-explain. You don't justify. You state your boundary once, clearly and calmly. Then you watch what happens. Respectful people adapt. Disrespectful people escalate. That response gives you clarity. You enforce consequences instead of repeating yourself. You limit access when limits are ignored. You choose distance when respect is absent. And here's the hope. When you stop fighting for your boundaries, life gets lighter. Your energy returns. Your confidence stabilizes. Your relationships feel safer. You realize something essential. Boundaries are not barriers to connection. They are requirements for it. Anyone who truly values you will not need constant reminders. They will meet you at the line, not try to cross it. You deserve relationships where your limits are honored, not contested. 9. You feel emotionally exhausted, not fulfilled. Connection should strengthen you, not drain you. You notice it after the conversations end. Not peace, not clarity, just fatigue. Your mind feels heavy, your chest feels tight, your energy is gone, even though nothing physically happened. In today's world, emotional exhaustion is often dismissed. People call it being busy, being sensitive, being overwhelmed by life. But deep down, you know the difference. Some connections recharge you, others quietly deplete you. The problem begins when interaction consistently costs more than it gives. You listen more than you're heard. You give empathy without receiving it. You absorb their stress, their chaos, their moods. You become the emotional container, the one who understands, forgives, adjusts. Meanwhile, your own needs remain unmet. Over time, this imbalance takes a toll. You feel numb, irritable, disconnected from yourself. You start dreading interactions that once felt safe. You feel guilty for needing space. You confuse emotional labor with love, but love is not depletion. Healthy connection strengthens your nervous system. It brings calm, not chaos. It creates warmth, not weariness. The solution begins with awareness. Ask yourself honestly, how do I feel after spending time with them? Do I feel supported or responsible? Do I feel energized or emptied? Your emotional state is feedback. You're allowed to step back from what drains you. You're allowed to choose rest over obligation. You're allowed to prioritize relationships that feel mutual. Start setting limits on emotional availability. Stop overgiving in hopes of being appreciated. Redirect your energy toward people who reciprocate. And here's the hope. When you release draining connections, space opens. Space for clarity, space for peace, space for relationships that nourish instead of consume. You begin to feel lighter, more grounded, more yourself. You realize something deeply important. You were never asking for too much. You were giving it to the wrong places. Connection should leave you stronger, not struggling to recover. 10. Deep down, you already know. And that quiet voice keeps whispering, leave. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it waits. Late at night, when the noise fades, when distractions stop working. When you finally sit with yourself, that voice returns. In today's world, intuition is often drowned out. Endless scrolling, constant stimulation, advice from everyone except yourself. So you silence it, you rationalize, you make lists of reasons to stay. You remember the good moments, you cling to potential instead of reality. That's the problem. Your mind builds arguments, but your body already decided. Your chest tightens before seeing them. Your energy drops around them. Your peace disappears in their presence. Yet you stay, out of loyalty, fear, hope, or history. You tell yourself leaving is dramatic. You tell yourself it's not that bad. You tell yourself you're strong enough to handle it. But the whisper doesn't go away. Because intuition isn't emotional. It's protective. It's the part of you that recognizes patterns before pain becomes permanent. Ignoring it comes with a cost. You lose clarity. You lose confidence. You lose yourself trying to make something work that keeps breaking you. The solution begins with stillness. Stop asking everyone else what to do. Start listening inward. Ask yourself one honest question. If nothing changed, could I live like this long term? The answer doesn't lie. Leaving doesn't always mean walking out dramatically. Sometimes it means emotional distance, sometimes it means boundaries, sometimes it means choosing yourself quietly. Leaving is not failure, it's alignment. And here's the hope. The moment you trust that inner voice, relief follows. Your nervous system softens, your breath deepens, your self-respect returns. You realize something powerful. Staying in what hurts you is not loyalty. It's self-abandonment. You already know what you need to do. That whisper isn't trying to destroy your life, it's trying to save it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the hardest battles are not against others, but against our own attachment. We know the signs, we feel the weight, yet we stay. Why? Is it love? Or is it fear of being alone? Fear of starting over? Fear of admitting we ignored the warning signs? So I ask you honestly, are you holding on to someone who is costing you your peace? And if you are, what is it really costing you? Tell me in the comments. What sign hit you the hardest?